everybody, Motumbo here, back with some more Magic with Motumbo, and we are finally diving into some of the new Ikoria standard. Now this set has been legal only for maybe a little more than a week, and it is super exciting. Now before we hop into what we're calling the Ultimatum of Doom, would like to remind you guys to please hit that subscribe, please hit that like button, and please leave a comment below letting me know what you think of the video, maybe what changes you would see to this, or letting me know what you would like to for me to play next and maybe turn into a deck. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hop right into this deck. This deck is awesome. It's called the Ultimatum of Doom. I've played a bunch of games with this. Haven't recorded any yet, so we're going to hop into those soon, but let's just go over this deck. So this deck revolves around Eerie Ultimatum. Now this card is going to let us, for 7 mana, we're going to return any number of permanent cards with different names from our graveyard to the battlefield. So if we have 15 cards in our graveyard and 13 of them are unique to themselves, we can return all 13 of those cards to play. So as long as every card is unique, we're going to be able to return it. So that's why you're seeing a lot of cards that we have in here that are one-ofs. And again, I do also want to focus that we are revisiting one of our favorite cards in Standard, Doom Foretold. We're going to be sacking cards on our turn. They're going to be sacking cards on their turn. This is going to let us control the board state, let us control the game, put it at a pace that we want it to be played at. But then also, it's also sacking us, our permanents, to put into the graveyard so we can actually play Eerie Ultimatum to bring them all back into play. So let's, this is the final build that I went with. I did have a few other builds that were very close. So we've just really been messing with the ones and the twos. So let's go ahead and just talk about what we have. So we have Birth of Meletis. Again, this is for, aggro decks. This is for, mono red. This is going to let us search land out and play. It's a 2-drop. It's going to cycle through the chapters of the saga itself pretty quickly, get into the graveyard. We'll be able to bring it back later on. It'll make a blocker for us, and it'll gain us some life. So it's really good against aggro decks. The Binding of Titans, this card is sweet. So you can't actually see it. So what it does is Chapter 1, this is a 2-mana card. Chapter 1 is going to, each player puts the top 3 cards of their library to the graveyard. So we're going to be milling 3, they're going to be milling 3. So it's good because Chapter 2 is going to let us exile 2 cards from their graveyards, and if they're creatures, we get to gain up to 2 life. But what's really important with this card, this is a sweet interaction because we're milling for 3, which is potentially putting 3 cards in our graveyard for Eerie Ultimatum. So we are only playing one of those. Again, it's not something that we want to hit super late in the game or really in multiples. But also Chapter 3 lets us bring a land back in case we're short on land. So in regards to a little bit of the removal, we have 1 Banishing Light, we have 1 Prison Realm. Now these cards are essentially the same. They're going to exile something from the board. Difference is one is going to get any non-land permanent, while the others only get creatures or planeswalkers and let us scry. So there is a slight difference, but they do have separate names. So that's really why we're doing it this way, is so we can feed the Eerie Ultimatum. Elspeth's Nightmare. This is going to let us destroy a creature. This is with power 2 or less on Chapter 1. Chapter 2 is going to let us basically duress them, let us take a card out of their hand, and then we're going to be able to exile their graveyard if we need to, if they're playing a graveyard-based deck, which there really isn't a lot of right now. But again, one of. First Iroan games. This is really to make a blocker if we need it. But then if we're in a game state, I'm imagining that where there's just not a lot going on, this is going to be on Chapter 2. It's going to put 3 counters on the 1/1 token that it made on Chapter 1, and then on Chapter 3 it's going to actually draw us 2 cards. And then if it hits Chapter 4, it's going to create a gold token. Gold token is essentially a treasure token. It's going to sack to add mana of any color. So this is really like fodder for Doom Foretold. A lot of the enchantments are fodder for Doom Foretold, obviously. We have Mythos of Nethroi. Now this could be, if you don't have these crafted yet, these could be Assassin's Trophies, but the reason I didn't necessarily want these to be Assassin's Trophies is because these could potentially target something of yours if you wanted to. If there's ever a position to where maybe you want to, if you have an Elspeth Conquers Death in play that you had just cast, and now you're wanting on the following turn, you're wanting to Eerie Ultimatum, but you don't have another Elspeth Conquers deck in the graveyard, maybe you want to kill the your own card and then bring it back. It's something. Also, it kills a permanent of theirs and doesn't reward them like Assassin's Trophy does with a basic land. So that's really the only reason we're trying this card out as opposed to Assassin's Trophy, but it could be. Treacherous Blessing. This is going to let us draw cards, and we're going to be able to sack it to Doom Foretold. Tymaret is one of the key cards in the deck. I really thought about playing 3 of these, but we did drop from 3 to 1 of these as well, because this does mill 3 each time. The downside is if you do want to make a zombie token, you do have to exile a card out of your graveyard. So we don't necessarily want to be exiling unless we need chump blockers. Omen of the Hunt is really good. This is going to allow us to flash in to get a land. So that's really all we want to do. We want to flash in for a land, put that land into play, and then we want to sack that to the Doom Foretold. Oath of Kaya is a staple. Kaya's Wrath is a staple. Vraska in an Abzan deck is a staple. This card is ridiculously good. It deals with 3-mana Planeswalkers very efficiently. Usually if you're playing against a 3-mana Planeswalker, they're not typically having smaller creatures that can attack on the backswing. So this is a really good card. And Calix. Now, last card here is we're going to be able to look at top 4. We're going to be able to look for enchantments, put them in our hands. We're going to be able to exile a creature, put it underneath an enchantment until that enchantment leaves. And if we get to ultimate, then we're going to be able to return all enchantment cards from our graveyard. That's huge. But we're only playing 1 of him. This is just like an if. So finally, we're just going to wrap that up with 1 Ethereal Absolution and 1 Bolas' Citadel. So if you've noticed, we're playing 61 out of 60 cards. We could cut the Bolas' Citadel. I don't feel like we have enough life gain to necessarily take advantage of this, but I feel like if we're controlling the board at a good state and we stay high enough, this card could come into play. Other than that, we just have the basic setup of land. We're playing 26 land, bunch of shock lands, bunch of basics, Fable Passages, 1 Castle Locthwain, and we have 4 of the new tri-lands. These are cycling. That's huge. We can cycle these into the graveyard to draw cards, and then we can bring them back with Eerie Ultimatum. So that's another thing to keep in mind. We do get to bring land back because lands are permanents. All right, so with that being said, that was a long deck introduction because we are playing a lot of singleton cards. We're going to hop right into the gameplay, and let's see how this deck does. We finally get to revisit our Doom Foretold, one of our favorite cards in Standard, with the new Ikoria set out. Pretty excited. Mammoth. All right, we're going first. We have what appears to be a hand we can keep. Hopefully we're not playing against the monoist of reds. Okay, looks like we're not, which is good. Wish we would have had this in our hand last go around. Let's see what we mill. Oh, 3 land. Okay. Interesting. Alright, we're going to exile and exile. And we are going to... Okay, so what is our opponent playing? Yeah, we're going to take action. We're going to go get a... Plains. Okay, so that was actually a really good draw. We'll get another Plains here. And we'll go ahead and play this. Play our friend Vraska.
I don't dwell
And we'll make the best out of our green Omen. Okay, that's fine. Don't really have anything. So our opponent just looks like playing Bant control. That's fine. Knight of on him? Okay. Sure. That actually, I think, makes our decision for us. So this gets that. Yeah, I like it. Alright, so we're going to exile you. We are going to... Oh, we're going to get you to concede. Good game. Good game, opponent. Good game. Yeah, that's what this deck does. Alright, we're on to our next game. This is pretty exciting. I mean, we got our last opponent just to scoop to us. Eerie Ultimatum is quite the card. And we get to sit here waiting for everybody's scared of us. Oh, there we go. Spring Roll. Nice. That's a cool avatar. Alright, we're going first. We don't have a very explosive hand. We're going to keep it, though. This is a tough match. Like, legitimately a tough match. Freaking Garuda. So in case you guys don't know what this card is, when he casts it, we're each going to mill 4. And then he gets to put an even cost creature from either one of our graveyards into play. So he's going to try to chain these together with Spark Double. Or a card that'll like blink his Garuda. So he's gonna try. Oh, kitty. No, I really would have liked to seen a mana creature that we could have interacted with. Not a Paradise Druid, but... Alright. We're gonna do this. We're gonna get a land. This is gonna allow us to play Doom Foretold next turn. And then have a backup Othakaya the following turn. We're really just trying to prevent him from getting to 6 mana to cast his Garuda. Because his deck is trying to do it as quickly as possible. We want to at least slow it down a little bit until we have some kind of interaction. So now we can Wrath once he gets his board full of shit, but we don't want that. We want to hopefully just not get to that point. But if he does mill us a whole bunch... Okay. So he is set up to actually... Well, if he has a land, he's going to be doing it next turn anyway. Which is not good. Hopefully he doesn't have a land here, but it looks like he does. With him thinking about it, he probably has multiple lands. Which is not good, but we're going to put him to the test. Please don't have a land. Or only have like a scry land or something. Like a Temple of Enlightenment or a Temple of Plenty. Nope. They always have it. So his turn 4, he has 6 lands, so let's see how Let's see how stupid and crazy this gets. I don't think we have any creatures. So on the plus side, we can Wrath. He didn't actually do anything crazy that turn. So what's really crazy is when two Garuda decks are going against each other. It's basically whoever lands the first. Usually, whoever lands the first Garuda wins, because you're being able to pull out their spark doubles and their Garudas out of the graveyard. All right, so we're gonna Conqueror's Death that. He's gonna set up some weird scry. He's gonna blink it, scry again. Okay, that's good. We want to see bottom again. I mean, that's what we want to see. Okay. We got our wish. Okay. I'll happily take this trade. Oh, well. Unfortunately. We are going to do this, though. So this Thassa lets him blink his Garuda as well, which it's not as degenerate as when Spark Double comes into play and doing it immediately. But it does let him do it at the end of the turn one time, so... So he'll probably blink this. I would have just blinked this. I think drawing an extra card is better than scrying too, in my opinion. So this is a good draw. This is going to let us kill a Garuda right when it comes into play. I think it's pretty, you know, like fortunate for him to go ahead and take a trade here since he has two Charming Princes. So, I guess we don't have anything we can bring back. Now, I'm seriously contemplating mythosing our Oath here. I think we're gonna Banishing Light that. We're gonna take 4 here. No blocks. This is actually... This is a fairly good draw. I wish we had one more land to play. So he did scry to the top. That's the only reason we're gonna play this. So he did have a Garuda there that we did mill. Very fortunate that we did that. So if we wouldn't have scryed there, or if he would not have scryed there, we would not have. All right, so I think we have to Eerie Ultimatum this turn. We don't necessarily want to. We're gonna gain a little bit of life. We'll hold on to this. All right, we're gonna get back, I think, our entire graveyard. Enters tapped.
Wherever I go, I leave bodies in my way.
All right, so he knows we have that. We are going to...
Sometimes sacrifices.
Yep. All right, good game. They usually concede by then. It's pretty hard to come back from something that detrimental. Awesome. So we got 2 concessions so far. Yeah, so I think in that last game, we would have sacked the Oath of Kaya to draw a card with our Vraska, had they not just conceded. And they just kind of went from there. I don't think we needed to kill off any of their tokens. So opponent goes first. This is a dangerously slow hand. I think we have to keep this though. I feel like we want the Bolas' Citadel to be any other card. Uncle Camel. So we're just gonna draw all of our overgrowns. Let's sort our hand. Okay. Is this something you Dovin's veto or quench? He's thinking about it. Oh, okay. What are you playing? Ah, you're playing a Winota deck. So we hit 2 red sources. That's huge. But he had one anyway. Okay. Well, we know what we're killing next turn. That was a good pickup. Just in case you have a way to cast that. We hit a, I mean, we did hit a white source, but not the white source we wanted. Wow, you are a lucky SOB. Yep. So this might actually draw a little bit of removal at it. We are going to just use this as a chump blocker to feed our, hopefully get into our Wrath next turn. Okay, Fibblethip is fine. Maybe he has another creature? Maybe like another Legion War Boss? Okay. This puts us in a pretty decent position. Alright, so we're just going to block whatever's a 2/2. Mitigate a little bit of damage. Alright, and we are going to... We can cast that, right? Okay. Enters tapped. Let's start you over, sir. What do you got over there? Don't worry, that thing's not doing anything. We're going to throw this out. We're not ever going to use it, but we will have the option to use it. This might draw a counterspell. Pay 4, go to 3. But then he could have like a Brazen Borrower and kill us. Stomp is not the end of the world. We're going to hold. Okay, raise the alarm. That's pretty good. Wow. Okay. Top 6. Oh my god. What? Wow. Good game. Good game. I thought it was only top 4 for some reason with this thing. That card's busted. And the fact that they come into play tapped and attacking. The cards are way overpowered. Way overpowered. All right, well, good game, dude. Yeah, wow. I still can't get over Winota. Man. Leo. Or Colillo. Or Mulligan. Do we keep this? Be greedy and keep this? Let me give it a shot. We drew land. That's huge. Mono black, huh? That sucks. Oh, well. Not the end of the world. I wish he would not have taken that, but... Is this mono black control? I think it might be. Alright. Well, we're gonna wait. See what you got. Whenever you gain life for the first time. Come into play? Oh no, just your hand. Okay. Let's get rid of those. So if we can actually hit another land and get this Ethereal Absolution in play. It's fine. Power 2 or less. What are we getting? Birth of Meletis. Yeah, we're actually gonna keep this. So the Birth will let us go get a land into a Doom Foretold, which is actually really good. Okay. All right. So we don't have any more planes, so we do need to note that. All right. So now he's going to be incentivized to drop as many things as possible, which is going to be either good or bad for him. We're going to sack the Birth. Okay. I don't know why. So we could drop another one of these. Be inclined to sack this. It's gain life in any way, like lifelink. No. Yeah, so we're gonna play the second one. We're trying to hit another land. Okay. I don't mind this hit. This actually now allows us to sacrifice Prison Realm. Where we weren't going to do that. We were just going to sack the Doom Foretold here. Alright, so now we're actually going to sack this. And we're going to kill this now. That was huge. That's going to actually net us an extra card. So it doesn't look like he wants to discard that card out of his hand. And that's going to get us the land that we want. Okay, and I think we are going to be good to go from here. He recovered pretty nicely from his start. I feel like he did take the right card though with his Agonizing Remorse, taking this Treacherous Blessing. We did want to cast that on turn 3 with our hand the way it was, but we've drawn really well. Okay. Order of Midnight. Okay. Alright, if damage would be dealt to it, prevent that damage and remove a +1/+1 counter. Okay. Finally actually get to use this card. And let's go ahead and pay some life. Let's mill a couple cards. Dude, that was huge. What did we hit? Oh, Command the Dread Horde and a Murderous Rider. So you might be thinking about commanding the Dread Horde for 4 life to get Vraska back and then killing our token. No, just all right. Just get everything. Nobody makes me bleed my own blood. All right. Went out on his own terms. Sorry, good game, man. Good. All right, going into the final match. That was a quick pairing. Joey Beer. Give you some beer. All right, he's going first. We can binding. Yeah, I think we're gonna keep this. This seems like a pretty reasonable hand. So my initial draft of this deck, it didn't actually have Binding of the Titans in it. It played 2 of the other green Saga card. That's unfortunate. That's fine. We are going to... Well, we're going to go and play it. This is actually going to get us a little bit of life if we hit some creatures off of it. Which we do. That was good. 2 actually pretty decent creatures. Oh, it's one of these decks, huh? Let's get a little bit of our life back here. Alright, let's stop this nonsense here and hope he doesn't hit a land. Oh, he hit it. Here comes the Anax. Ooh. Alright, what are we getting rid of? I feel like Embercleave is probably the hardest thing to get rid of. Play Anax. Foretold. I'm thinking. Playing against Mono Red is hard, dude. Alright, so we need to do this. We need to do this now so he doesn't get more tokens. Alright, so we do want to set an upkeep stop here for next turn. Because we do want to play this before we sack for Doom Foretold. Yeah, you have to sack Torbrand. I see him probably playing another Anax, which is fine. Oh, really? Okay. Cavalcade into Anax. Alright. Go ahead and get us a swamp. Alright, main. This is kind of big, drawing this Treacherous Blessing. This is going to net us 3 cards, and we're going to be able to sack it next turn. I don't hate this. I do hate the fact that we just drew really horribly right there. Okay. Yep. So mono red is a really hard matchup. Wow, if we could have hit a Wrath there, that'd have been really good. Let's do this. Let's get us some... top card was a Wrath. That's unfortunate. Right, let's exile until this leaves the battlefield. No. All right, good game. We set it up pretty well. Oh, we drew surprisingly well against that mono red deck. We put them in a pretty good position, or put us in a pretty good position. So I'm really happy. I'm a little not upset that I'm a little sad that they conceded, because I really would have liked to play that game out since it was so close. Because the game still could have went either way, but I feel like they were going to have to force all of that at Calix next turn, or we were going to start going pretty crazy. So awesome. All right, guys, let's talk about how we did. So we did amazing. We went 4-1 with this deck. I do want to highlight that one match that we lost against that Winota deck. That card is ridiculous. Again, I've seen videos of it. I've never actually been on the other end of it and being attacked by it. Don't actually have any of those in my collection yet, but that's something I will be crafting. That card is ridiculous. But other than that, though, this deck did exactly what it was supposed to do. It controlled the board state. It put the game at a pace to which our opponents just felt like they couldn't keep up, and put them just out of reach to win the game. And our opponents saw that pretty early on in some of those matches and just gave up and let us go to the next game. So I do want to point out, again, Doom Foretold is so overpowered. I really feel like anytime new cards come out, I do want to try them with Doom Foretold to see what they do. But this deck does play a lot like a Singleton deck, because again, it is doing Singleton things. There are a lot of Singleton cards in here, and you're wanting to bring back Singleton cards from the graveyard with Eerie Ultimatum. So it feels like the games can play out a bunch of different ways, but essentially it's all to the same goal once you get Doom Foretold going. Don't really feel like anything else we need to hit on, though. Bolas' Citadel, again, didn't really feel like it really made an impact in any of the games. We did manage to land it, but I mean, didn't really do anything. So, but yeah, everything else worked just like I had imagined it. Again, I did play some games before recording these games, and the deck just performed super well. And that mono red matchup, that last matchup that we played, it really highlighted making correct plays in certain orders. I really feel like it did highlight that really well. I do want to point out that we have 43 rares and 3 mythics in this deck. So in regards to Magic Online, not Magic Online, I'm sorry, Magic Arena. This is going to be kind of an expensive deck. On paper right now, this is roughly like a $225 deck. So not too expensive. Something, if you have the cards for this, I would definitely recommend giving it a try. Again, the formatting will look different here as opposed to the when we went over it at the beginning, just because I formatted it so I could highlight all the cards. So again, guys, we are still social distancing. We are still living in a pretty crazy time right now. So I do want to remind everybody to stay safe, and hopefully we're going to keep on making great Magic content for you guys to watch. Do want to remind you guys, if you've made it this far, please hit the subscribe button, please hit like, please leave a comment, let me know what you think and what you want to see in the future, and we will try to push that out for you. Again, stay safe, guys. You guys have an amazing day, an amazing weekend, and we'll see you next time.